we've officially hit the I don't know what to write anymore part of the writing journey. So I'm on chapter 13, and I currently have around 600 words, and I have been struggling to get this written. And this is the point that I hit in every book. Like, you're doing good, building up the story, getting places, and then you're like, the middle. What's going on in the middle? Because I don't know, and it just is boring. Like, I don't know what I want to do, and like, this is where being a pantser stops working because I don't know what I want to write. I know what I want the end to be, and I don't know how to really get there and like how I want to tell the story anymore. And then you start to question like the whole book, and you're like, is this really the story I want to tell? I don't know. I would rather write a different story because, again, I've worked on this one for so long, and I think it's a little bit of like a subconscious self-sabotage thing, but like, I don't know what to write anymore. Like, I am so done with it, and I've been staring at like the rest of what needs to happen in this chapter, which I don't even know what's going to happen. I just know that I need to double my word count, and I'm just staring at the screen for the past like hour, like, I don't know. I don't know what to write anymore. Like, I have no idea. Like, it feels like the story is just sludging on at like this like snail speed. And then yet if I move fast through the plot, then I'm like, oh my god, we're just like gonna racetrack through this. There's no happy medium, and obviously as an author you're always going to be your worst critic, and of course your worst critic that eventually will read your work will agree, but for the most part, most people don't care. They're like, ah, it's a story, whatever. It's at this point that I'm like, I don't know. And like, is it worth going and outlining? I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna fix it. But I think at this point, I've kind of just accepted the fact that like, if I'm getting this dragged down in the writing process, probably means I need to start moving faster through plot points. And if I need to slow it down, that's what the first round of editing is for, is to beef up this word count. And honestly, that usually means that I add a lot of scenes and a lot of details that I normally skip over, because like, I have not described this building like at all that they're in. Like, we have no idea where they are. It's just a building. And that's when I edit and I add it in. And so the only thing I know right now is that the arc 1, part 1, act 1 of the book is going to end at chapter 14. Now what that means, I'm not exactly sure. I'm thinking of having it be the big plot twist that I want to have happen, because there is 2 plot twists that I want to happen in this book. So I'm thinking part 1 of the 2 is going to happen at the end of 14. But the getting there, I don't know. Like, and it just feels like you're just like trudging through mud at this point, and it just sucks. And I've been putting this off, again, for like a week. Like, I haven't been, like, you haven't noticed the gap, because I can get ahead usually, but it's like, it's catching up now, and it's like, I still don't know what to write. Like, I still don't know what I want to have happen. And so, like, this chapter, it might end up just staying at 600 words. I don't know that I know how to fix it. And I think chapter 14, it's one of those where it's like, you're just gonna like, get there. Like, a sentence or 2, finish this chapter, editing me problem, move on to chapter 14. Chapter 14 is gonna go a lot faster, and we're just gonna get to the point and have that be the thing, and then just move on. And then move into the next problem that they need to deal with in Act 2. Because Act 1's thing has kind of been dealt with. Now we need to deal with this one, and then plot twist number 3 needs to happen at some point. And then move into the last, like, set of chapters. And really, I don't even know when that one's gonna happen. I almost feel like it's gonna happen at, like, chapter 19, 20-ish. And at that point, then just have the last bit of the book be the end. Like, the last shift of where their focus needs to be and what they're doing, and then get to the end, the end of this series. Because again, it's not that I'm not excited about this book. I've just been writing it for so long, and like, the longer you have to sit and marinate on the story, the more you're like, that's boring. I should make this more complicated. And so you do. And then you keep doing that over and over for like decades, it feels like. I mean, it's getting close to multiple decades because I started this when I was like 12-ish, I think, like 12, 13. And so I'm now getting to late 20s, so definitely over a decade. It's not that far off. Like, it's gonna be done before then. It's gonna get finished this year. But it's just one of those things where it's like you've worked on it for so long that like you need to get out of that world. You need to have other characters. You need to have other things because you add characters because you're bored with it because it's been sitting and marinating all this time. So it'll be nice to just have it done and I can move on to other stories and never do a series again. This is the part that's hard because it's changed what the end is going to be since I was like in 7th or 8th grade when I started with the storyline. It has changed so much. And so now it's like I need to get to the end that I have in mind, and it's just dragging and I just want to do other projects. But this is where I always get in stories, and honestly, I think having it be a series that I've been stuck with for so long is a big part of the reason this is so hard. Because, again, I think it's a lot of self-sabotage because it's a project I've worked on for so much of my life now that it feels weird to not be working on it and to not constantly be thinking about how I want to do things, how do I want these characters to be, should I tweak this personality, should I do this, should I do that? And so now that it's like, oh, well, you just need to write it, and like, honestly, you could have it done in 2 weeks for draft 1, and it's like, well, I don't know, that feels fast. I don't know. And the reality is I just need to get it done. But it gets a little rough. And I think next time, the next book I write, I'm going to have an outline and I'm going to try and stick to it because it's at this point that like if I had an outline and I knew what I needed to be writing in this chapter, it would be so much easier. And the fact that I don't really is not working out great because it's rough. Like even if I just had a basic like sentence or two of what needs to happen in this chapter would be great, but I don't. I really have no idea. So I think chapter 13 is going to be the shortest chapter. I'm not even really gonna, I think, hit the 1,000-word requirement that I've been having because I'd rather get it done than sit here and just stare at a blank page for literally hours because I don't know what else to write. And I think I'm just gonna leave this as like a half-finished chapter and just move on to 14 and just get that done. And maybe it'll just be a short chapter. I think that'd be okay. I think I'm allowed to have one short chapter that just sucks. And maybe it's the cursed chapter 13, which is ironic because, like, it's about zombies, so I feel like 13 should be the lucky number, but no. So anyways, that is my ramblings for chapter 13 because now we're at the hard part of the writing of a book. I would love to hear how your writing is going in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every other day, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.